Alright y'all, it's a tax deed dude coming at you again. It's a Monday, so we're going to go ahead and check out these tax deeds coming up for the week. You can see I'm on propertyonion.com. I do have my calendar version up here. The way that you get to this is just go ahead and go to search properties and calendar search. I've got a bunch here on the foreclosures and the tax deeds. So the way that we can go ahead and filter this is to just go up to more filters. We're going to select by Florida. We're going to select all of the counties, and then by sale type, tax deed auctions. Then we're going to put our auction dates for this week already and apply to filters. And as you can see, we do have quite a few that are canceled already, so we want to go ahead and clear those out. Those are the ones that have already gotten redeemed or were canceled by the county, maybe forwarded to the next sale. For whatever reason, they are not going up for auction. We don't want those. So we're going to go ahead and click on more filters, and at that point we're going to say auction status and upcoming. Okay, and as you can see, it's a pretty slow week. We've only got 14 deeds coming up this week. What we can go ahead and do is click on over to our list view and see which counties we have coming up. And I've gone ahead and customized my own personal columns. I like to use the ones here. You can customize these all in the property summary, and here that's just to get what your liking is there for you. And let's see which county these are in. Let's go ahead and click on that. Let me try refreshing this here. There we go. So we're in Bay County. We're in Bay County and Walton County. And what I like to do, I'm a spreadsheet kind of guy. I like to see everything all at once. I'm going to go ahead and export this. And now I've got here, I'm just going to go ahead and make this a little bit prettier so I can read it. What I'm doing right now, I just want to make sure the auction date coming up is actually for tomorrow. So I got to go ahead and get this wrapped up here. One thing I do look for is a flood zone. So I've got a flood zone here on this one. I've also got a mobile here on this one. So I'm really not interested in mobiles right now. I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and look at all the land. I also want to check the lot size because I don't want anything too small. This is pretty much as low as it gets. It's probably about 0.12. You can build most places 0.08, but that's pushing it. You're talking like Austin, Texas type stuff. So we'll go here, and you can see this will actually tell us this flood zone, the percentage. So what we're looking for is the X flood zone. And we can see here the X flood zone is about 49%. So we have about half of that building area. And it looks like this is actually a pretty good lot size here. We're going to go ahead and check that one out just in case and see where that goes. So a little trick that I like to do if it's a small batch here is I'm going to go ahead and heart all of these, and I'm going to unheart the ones that I don't want. So I don't want this mobile. I'm going to go ahead and look at that flood one. And we're going to go ahead, Walton. I'm not interested in bidding in Walton right now. I'm going to go ahead and take those off. And that leaves us with these. So what we're going to do is check these out one by one. First of all, I want to check the opening bids, right? So I don't have anything super outrageous. Nothing's like $40,000. I try to stay in between, anywhere between 10 to 60,000 bidding for vacant land, unless it's a really good size, right? So none of these are humongous. This looks like about possibly 10 acres right here. That'll be a good one to look at. So let's go ahead and check these out one by one, and we'll go. And the great thing about Property Onion is they have almost everything you need right in front of your face. I really like that they have all the links to everything. So I can just click on it one by one and go down the line. So first thing I'm looking for, I've got vacant usage for my land. It doesn't have the acreage right here, so that could just be a fluke in the property appraiser site. Check in, I've got some values. The values look decent. Land looks decent, good sales. And the map. So the map is really what I really want to look at. That's going to tell me a lot, these aerial views. So I don't see anything out of the ordinary on the lot. I do have access. It's dirt road access, but I've got really good, looks like farm property. These are probably mobiles around here, but they look like decent mobiles. I don't see any like rusted caps on anything. When you see the rust on the mobiles, that's how you know they're probably from like the 1960s, 1970s, and they don't take care of their properties. But it looks like all of these are pretty much good sized properties. These look like probably 1 acre properties here. and everybody kind of takes care of their stuff. So this looks like a really good neighborhood. So let's check this out a little bit further. Okay, so we'll put that one on the back burner. Go ahead and keep it hearted. I'm going to go on to the next one. So I'm just going to do this process down the road. I like to batch them to try and eliminate the ones that I don't need right away. Again, we've got vacant, acreage is 0. Everything looks good. So you can see this is actually sold quite a bit. Obviously, this wasn't the one that we were looking at. This is a smaller parcel. This is probably part of a bigger parcel. Yeah, as you can see, multi-parcel, yes. So they split it here, split it here, split it here. So that's why you'll see those larger sales prices. So going down here, I want to click on the map. And this looks nice. These look like really nice homes just from the aerial view. We do have access. And this looks like some sort of power line possibly, or incoming highway. That looks possibly like looks like a two-way divided highway, or somewhere in the subdivision. For whatever reason they want to make it aesthetic, maybe, don't know. The good thing though here is in Bay County they actually have kind of a highlight of recent sales, so we can actually see. So this has a house. This does not have a house, so this one just sold in 2022, so it was more than 2 years ago. This is not going to be a good price point for us, but it does say that it's sold for $6,000. So if we have any of them in this specific neighborhood, we can kind of check it out. That's again $6,000. This one's 93. Looks like the sale date, sale price of 56. That was recent, so that's not looking too good, but we'll check it out. A lot of these. So here we go, $10,000. And then another one for, that's a just value, sale price $5,000. So we'll keep this on the back burner and move on to our next one. So I'm just going to start flying through some of these, looking at all of them. Got vacant. These are probably all in the same neighborhood as well. So this does not look like it has access. Oh, it does. It was just zoomed in, so that one's good. One thing to note, so there's no development on either of these two blocks. This looks like the same neighborhood as that last one. It probably is. I think that one was up here. So when we do comps, we can probably just do comps for all of them that are in this neighborhood. So again, we'll keep that on the back burner. And that one. Okay, so here we have the acreage of 6.82. That's interesting. Yep, here we go. Okay, so 303. Yep, so this is a nice lot right here. This is what we're looking for. If you're trying to get up to those high dollars, maybe even splitting it down the middle, making it 2 lots. This is a nice one. I like that one. Again, there we go. All right, we got our 10 acres here. Another good one. We got, looks like possibly no direct road access, but an offshoot, so this could be an easement, but it is running along, so there's people that go to this property here, go to this property here, so there's got to be access to ours right here. It will be interesting to see where the main road is on this one, though. Yeah, so the main road is right here and here, so we're kind of in the middle of these main roads, but we can get an offshoot right here, so we can probably zoom in and see that one later on. Okay, another good one. It's probably in the same area. There's another one. Looks like we got power lines on the back of this one. This is a small lot. So we can see just from this area, we've got a sale price this year in February. So this is a few months ago, 73,000, 79,000. So these are pretty decent lots if we wanted to like sell or finance. This one was 10,000. This has a mobile on it though, so just to be careful of that one. And it looks like there's a lot of junk. This is probably not a great neighborhood. Looks like a pretty open, kind of do what you want neighborhood. Smaller lots. There's a big lot here. Would love to get those big lots, but I don't see a whole lot more than that. But we'll go ahead and keep it on our back burner. Okay, this one's good. We got 2.5 acres here, so I like that already. Looks like we do have access to it in between 2 developed properties, so that's good. You know, we can probably get a septic and well out there if we had to. Definitely mobile homes, probably some farming communities. Yeah, this one looks good. And our last one here is Panama City Beach. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on the beach, but let's see. I do like the appraisal value, 34,000. So it had an extra input of drive walk input, so this is probably a sidewalk that was installed. And as you can see, we actually have some sort of permit for a demolition as well. So that's interesting. So that could be demolishing some sort of building that was already structurized, or most likely this is always a mobile, but I don't see the sales or any other permitting for a mobile to go in here. We do have that the multi-parcel is improved, so we have vacant and then improved. So interesting that this jumped from here to here as vacant to improved. So we can check out the aerials in Google Earth. And yeah, this looks like it's been cleared with an old mobile. Alright, beautiful. That's what we want to see. Yeah, you can see a fence back here. The street view is going to tell us a lot, and when we get into Google Earth, that'll be a lot more. So here's the rust spots I was talking about earlier, but oh man, this is good. So look at every single one of these brand new homes. Here, 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 here. There's one mobile left. That means that most likely we can pick up this property and try to sell it to a developer that's been in any of these homes. So that's what we like to see. Let's see, there's no other sales on this street. We did have this one, 90,000 for that mobile. That's interesting. And I don't see any other vacant properties. There we go. That says 200,000. It's probably with a brand new house on it. Not sure. Let's look around. All these look like the same properties. That's interesting. So we'll do some more digging into this. But so far we've narrowed it down. So we had a bunch before. Now we've kind of gone through here. I do want to look at that one with the flood issue. So let's do our flood zone here. This A and E. So this one is, I want to go ahead and look at the FEMA flood map, and again I can just click on here in Property Onion. They reduce all of the information that we really just don't need as far as like the websites and stuff go. So we can click right there and it pulls it directly up to FEMA. So this one is interesting. This one looks like it's pretty much in a floodplain. Let's go ahead and pull up our property link again so you can kind of get a better outline, because the FEMA flood map will not give you the outline of the parcel, so you're kind of winging it off of the map that you get from the appraiser site. And let's go ahead and pull that one up. Oh yeah, so this was the 2.5 acre that looked really good, and we can see this is probably where that floodplain is. So let's see if we can get it matched a little bit better. And go back and forth. Yeah, so most likely this is in the floodplain. I remember we had about 49%, I think it said. So this right half of the property is probably buildable. Second half is not. So what we're going to do is when we go in there, we're going to say, you know, it's 2.5 acres. We're actually going to comp it for like 1.25 acres, because really that's the only buildable land that's on here. The rest is just a bonus for anybody who wants it. So now that I have those narrowed down, I've looked at the flood maps, I've looked at the appraiser site, so I'm good with all of these. What I want to do is actually limit it down to what I have so far. So let's go to saved properties. Okay, and this is going to pull up all the saved properties, kind of clean out some of the junk here. So we're going to again do the auction status upcoming and limit it to this week. Okay, and now I have my 9. So just to make sure I've got the same list form here. Yep, so you can see all these. We have one Panama City Beach, the rest are in Fountain. So that makes me think that they're probably all in the same area. So let's go ahead and take this off. We'll search properties with map search, and we'll go that route. Yep, and just as I thought, so we have our one Panama City Beach out here, and then we have all these other ones that are in Fountain, pretty much near each other. So essentially, as long as these are not different, super different, like I can comp these two together. I could probably comp these two together. It's not going to make a huge difference because they're all in the general area, but this is a more developed area, and like we saw before, some are nicer properties than others. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and see if I can just go ahead and get the acreage real quick, because I like to see my acres pretty easily. So what we're going to do is just divide the lot size by 43,560, and that's how many square feet are in an acre. So we have everything from 14 to 9.83. So again, my Panama City is different. So we'll go ahead and take that one. So I have a pretty broad range, but what I can do is probably set these together. Maybe the 0.6 is a little bit more, and then these are going to be comped differently. One quick way to do this, so I just noticed these are all in the same zip code. If we take this one out, they're all in 32438, so I can make this really simple and just go to Redfin, and I can pull the data and collect it in Excel instead of having to do it by hand. So I will just go to this zip code, and I can go ahead and reduce my home type to land. And I want to do these sold comps first and see how many I have here. So there's not a whole lot in the last 3 months. We can open up to the last 6 months. And essentially, we can do the last year. Since there's a lot going on here, I want to go ahead and do it to the last 6 months and just get a general idea. Actually, never mind. We have bigger acreage. Let's do the last year. So from here, if I scroll all the way down, I can go ahead and grab the download all button and go ahead and download all these at once. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and see if I can just go ahead and get the acreage real quick, because I like to see my acres pretty easily. So what we're going to do is just divide the lot size by 43,560, and that's how many square feet are in an acre. So we have everything from 14 to 9.83. So again, my Panama City is different, so we'll go ahead and take that one. So I have a pretty broad range, but what I can do is probably set these together. Maybe the 0.6 is a little bit more, and then these are going to be comped differently. One quick way to do this, so I just noticed these are all in the same zip code. If we take this one out, they're all in 32438, so I can make this really simple and just go to Redfin, and I can pull the data and collect it in Excel instead of having to do it by hand. So I will just go to this zip code, and I can go ahead and reduce my home type to land. And I want to do these sold comps first and see how many I have here. So there's not a whole lot in the last 3 months. We can open up to the last 6 months. And essentially, we can do the last year. Since there's a lot going on here, I want to go ahead and do it to the last 6 months and just get a general idea. Actually, never mind. We have bigger acreage. Let's do the last year. So from here, if I scroll all the way down, I can go ahead and grab the download all button and go ahead and download all these at once. Okay, so you see I've got quite a few here, which is good. That's what we want. We want a lot of data. I'll go ahead and capture all of this. Pull it over to my pricing tool and go ahead and just paste it. So now I can easily see all of the acreages at once, and I can kind of pull everything out. And again, this is all the same zip codes. We've got a lot of data. A couple of these say different cities, but not too worried about that. I do have a couple outliers here I can go ahead and remove. Obviously these are probably houses or something else going on. And then I've also got some sizes I don't need. So again, going back to the sizes I need are 0.18 for this zip code all the way down to 10. So I do not need anything. I'll probably just take out the 64. We got a lot of data already for the 10, so I'll probably go all the way up to maybe 30. I'll take out to 30 or 21. It's not a perfect science, but here we are. Okay, so now I'm going to break it down even more and move these over into different acreages. So make this 10 to 20 acres. Or we could do, let's go down to 5. 5 is a good number. I'll make this one less than 0.5. Or actually, what do we have here? We have, right, 18, so we'll do less than 5 there for that one. And we'll do one from 0.5 to 1 acre. We'll go 2. Let's do 2. Don't know what kind of data we have yet. Okay, so you see I've got quite a few here, which is good. That's what we want. We want a lot of data. I'll go ahead and capture all of this. Pull it over to my pricing tool and go ahead and just paste it. So now I can easily see all of the acreages at once, and I can kind of pull everything out. And again, this is all the same zip codes. We've got a lot of data. A couple of these say different cities, but not too worried about that. I do have a couple outliers here I can go ahead and remove. Obviously these are probably houses or something else going on. And then I've also got some sizes I don't need. So again, going back to the sizes I need are 0.18 for this zip code all the way down to 10. So I do not need anything. I'll probably just take out the 64. We got a lot of data already for the 10, so I'll probably go all the way up to maybe 30. I'll take out to 30 or 21. It's not a perfect science, but here we are. Okay, so now I'm going to break it down even more and move these over into different acreages. So I'll make this 10 to 20 acres. Or we could do, let's go down to 5. 5 is a good number. I'll make this one less than 0.5. Or actually, what do we have here? We have, right, 18, so we'll do less than 5 there for that one. And we'll do one from 0.5 to 1 acre. We'll go 2. Let's do 2. Don't know what kind of data we have yet. have this one, so let's go ahead and duplicate this one, and this one's going to be our small one. Okay, so that's less than 5. Okay, so I'm going to group it as 0.8, the 0.3s, and I'm just kind of winging this. I know I go back and forth, but again, I don't want to delete data that I may need later on. So this is my 0.3, and we can go ahead and take out the 0.15. And we got 0.6. And now we have 2.5. Okay, so if this is my 2.5, I'm going to go ahead and take out a bunch of stuff here. I'll move my graph down. So 2.5, I'm going to go ahead and bump up to 5, just in case. Go ahead and delete all this. We want to go to at least 1. I'm probably going to break it down further, but just to go there. Okay, so I got my 2.5, now my 7. Now 7, I'll probably go up to 3. I'm going to drop this down to the 10s, maybe the 12s. Let's just see where the 12 lands. So here I got a baseline of what I want to do, right? So I've got 8 different spreadsheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yep, 7, 8. So these two are going to be on this one and this one. So that's how we're going to base these two the same and these two the same as per acre per price. So let's go ahead and start with the big one. The big one's always better. So this one is for 9.83 acres. So what I'm going to do is just kind of check around and see if there's any outliers. I don't see anything significant. However, I do see a bunch of 20s up here, which is kind of a big number. I'm not going that way. So if I just sort by acre, I'm going to do this kind of by hand. I can see that my average right now is 5,473 per acre. Right, so that would mean was it 5,000? Where did we go? 5,473. Alright, so technically the value of this should be average of about $53,000. Oh, I just realized I did that backwards. Okay, so put that back here, and let's just go ahead and take 1,004. There we go. Much better. Make it pretty. Boom. Okay, so this is going to be my value, right? So let's go ahead and do the next one for 7. Okay, and I've got quite a few outliers here, so let's go ahead and look at these outliers. You can see my price per acre, so it kind of jumps off here. So you got a bunch of clusters here, and then once you get over here, you got these 3 outliers above, looks like 12,000. So when I take those out, you'll see my shift in the graph, and I've got 3 more outliers are kind of here. And there we go. So you can see a lot of 10-acre properties, a lot of 6-acre properties, or 5 acres. These are all pretty good. So again, our property is about 7 acres, so we're going to land right about here, which is where our graph kind of comes across at this point. And it's kind of hard to tell from here, but let's just go ahead. I'm going to take out this 4.43 because I don't like anything under 5. And then we'll go ahead and just reduce it even more, under 10. So if we take those out, actually let's see what we had before that, just for shoots and goggles. 56.13, and let me put it back. And now we have 57.46, so not too different. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So my value on this is going to be about $40,000. Next I'm going to go to my 2.4, and got a lot of outliers here as well. You can go ahead and delete those. Anything past looks like 30,000 on per acre. Alright. Now, we do have a lot of information here, so we have a lot of 5. I don't really like including the 5 acres because that's kind of a tier jump as in the per acre price. Again, we can go ahead and check and just kind of compare. So like right now we have an average of $10,146 per acre. If I remove the 5, and I don't like doing the 1s either because those are pretty darn close. So we can see we're at 10,400, so not a huge jump, but there's not a lot of data available with this one now that we've reduced it so much. So we've only got a couple here, and they're pretty far off in acreage price, so we may need to do a little bit more digging onto this one. These prices are quite different. Some of these have addresses, which means they may have been developed, so they may have septic systems or septic and well, so they may have a little bit more value to them. And also the 2.5 price point is really difficult. Anywhere between 1 to 4 acres is kind of difficult. 2 to 4 acres is even worse. So let's come back to this one later. And now I've got my 1 for 0.6. I've got a couple outliers here I can get rid of. Now 0.6 is going to put us right around here. So you can see a really good cluster of 0.6 kind of in the middle of here everywhere. These are a little bit outliers. I don't like anything above 1. So let's go ahead and reduce that one. And we'll just check again, 18,650. Now we're at 21,852. So I think this is probably a pretty good range. You can see I kind of have like 1 cluster here and then 1 cluster here. So this may be 2 different neighborhoods that are given off this, but we can go ahead and take our average. We're pretty far off on our pricing though. That's kind of concerning to me. Looks like this is probably a duplicate. Let me go ahead and add all of our duplicates in here. And no more duplicates. Okay. Again, you can see, so there's 1 address, 2, and then all 3 of these. So you can see these are probably a little bit more because they may have had something on them or have some sort of development. So going with that, I think I want to take those out. Unless ours has some sort of development too, but I don't see, oh it does, it may have something, so let's keep that. Alright, so again, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I want to look at it more before I even put an acreage on there. So let's go ahead and go to our 0.3, and we have 2 of them at 0.31, 0.32. Let's see, don't see a whole lot there. Okay. So again, we have 1 major outlier we'll get rid of. And you can see we probably have another one. And there's another one on the back side here, these 2. We can get rid of. That's interesting, these are the 0.69s, and that was the duplicate that we had earlier, so actually this is kind of an outlier in and of itself, so I feel more comfortable taking this out of this one, and we're definitely going to take it out of this one. Alright, so that's better. We're still at 0.3, so I'm thinking we have everything from 0.17 to 0.77. I don't like to go over the half acre mark with anything less than half an acre unless it's really close, like in the 0.4s. We have a lot of 0.31s. This is interesting. So here we have we'll just say an average of 23.6, and another one is 24.608 if we include all of them. Let's take out this 0.17. It's under 0.2, which I don't like. These are kind of pushing it, but it's not too far off from our average, so at this point we can kind of open it up. So ours are right here. We can take these out. I think these are good to take out. We'll go back to that. Since we do have so much data on the 0.31s, and we can take out the 0.26. So now we have a 0.3. So it's interesting because we're only off by one, not even a tenth, like 1/100th of an acre if I'm doing my math correctly. So 0.3 instead of 0.31. That shows up way down here, but that's because we have so much data up here. So I'm just going to leave that in there because it's not really a big deal. So now we're at an average of 23.738. So you can see ours is slightly off by that 1/100th of an acre, so 73.54. So these are not valuable to me at this point. I probably wouldn't go for these because, especially if we have to do our tax clearing, if you're in the business of doing seller financing and getting these cheap, this might be a good deal for you. But the opening bids are dirt cheap. A lot of people like to buy these, and then you can sit on them, you can hold them, you can rent them out to cattle farmers. I don't know what you want to do with them, but anyway, so the assessed value is 5,100 and opening bid 1,998. So we'll have those. So these I am not going to be interested in. So let's go ahead and do the 0.18s. And one thing to note, I'm just looking at, like, these are probably really close to each other, right? So if we go back to property onion, that's probably these two right here. Yep, 2,997. Yeah, so these two are in the same neighborhood, so it's really good that we can go ahead and get these done together. And most likely I'm not going to do these either, but we just want to double check and make sure that we're not missing anything. If it's in some sort of, hoity-toity affluent area coming up, you never know. So we'll go back to our, this is the 0.16, we're actually at 0.18, but that's okay. My perfectionism kicks in. Okay, so we have everything from 0.15 to 0.29, and again we have this one's pretty out there, so that's our outlier we're going to delete. And we're set. So we have 0.8, 0.25, this looks pretty good. I do have a very large price per acre, but if you look here, our amount sold is 28 to 8,000. Automatically, no, I'm not gonna take any of these. So just for shoots and goggles, we'll do average of 30,978. 9,978. Yeah, so those are 54 and 5,600 average. So we're gonna go ahead and nix those. Again, this might be a great property for anybody out there that wants to do seller financing or just buy for themselves. Have some, land to go ahead and plop a mobile home on or something like that. I do know that all of these are undeveloped because they don't have an address. So if they did have an address, I'd be more inclined to look at them. Sometimes if you have a good septic and well, that can add anywhere between 5,000 to maybe even 12,000 depending on the year of the septic and the size of the septic. You also have impact fees that could be pertaining to that, and grandfathered clauses with the septic system not being completely underground and all that, but that's another video for another day. Okay, and since I've already nixed those four, I can go ahead and jump back onto my favorites list here and take those out. So let's do our list view. 2995. 978 and 2082. Okay, so I'm left with 5 now that I'm looking at possibly bidding on. Alright, so now that I've narrowed it down, I can see the largest 3 have no development. They don't have an address. These 2 might. I do have a value for these already. I don't have a value for this one, so let's go back to that and try to figure that out. That was our 2.5 acres. So if I just do my 2.5, again, I'm so different off of these, 12,000. And price per acre was 5,000 on these. Let's, I can open it up and unhide. So we went from 40,000 to 7,500 under there. So it's got to be somewhere in between here, which is a pretty big gap still. Let's see if we can find something around there on that one. from the assessor's map. So that was 12.5, to this one. So let's go to the parcel map. And what I'm going to do is try and find anything around there. Usually these are pretty good square properties. Maybe something that Redfin might have missed, or anything that, see, a lot of people are actually subdividing these. So if you look closely enough, you'll see like these were subdivided. This is probably a 10 acre property right here. And then they cut it in half, and then they cut it in half. So now you have 2.5 acres that is now split up into 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 properties. You know, and then some people can go over here. So this is a good idea to possibly subdivide one of these if you can, but it looks like this block is not subdivided, so I would just be cautious on that. That could be something with you know, approvals of not subdividing anything past this road. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. So everything here you can see is pretty much what's being sold. Here I have a vacant property that just sold for $10,000, but that's half of ours. That's only $20,000 to make ours up. That's not a good sign. Let's try this one. That's $2,400. So we have these. So these might have been sold in the same instance. So this might not be 110 for this and 110 for this. It could be that both of them sold for 110 because they're the same date as well. This one was sold a little bit differently. 5 acres. So this sold for $90,000, which would make ours about $45,000. That's a better idea of what we're looking for, and you can see, but our 7 acres is worth $40,000. So could be something going on with that. Actually, that looks developed. Yep, that has some sort of development on it. So here's one from 2022, 35,000. That's not a good comp either. These are all pretty old comps. See, this one just sold for $25,000. Again, that's not a good comp because there's no development out here. I don't see really any roads, so that's might have been a landlocked property. So let's venture on over to trusty old Zillow. Let me find out where this property is. So I'm just going to go out to my zip code, and then I can kind of narrow it down. I already know it's off to this side of the major highway of Fountain Park. It's a pretty small neighborhood, so yep, it already pulled it up here. So what I'm going to do, I already have my home types on here as land only with the sold. And some of the additional filters I'm going to add, my lot size, I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to 5 and bring it down to 1. So we're going to do 1 to 5 acres. Make sure I'm on 12 months still and apply. So here is where the property is, right around here. So I can go ahead and just draw. And apply. So I can see some for 35,000. Here's 18,000, 19,000. So here's 75.5. So 31,000, 30,000. So let's bring it down to 1 acre to 2 acres. And what I want to do is look where my property is. So we're here on this subdivision, which is right here. Of course, there's no comps right here. So let's remove our boundary. Something close by, so this one's 31,000. That's probably going to be the best comp for us. 52,000. So that's giving me an average of about $10,400 per acre. And if I come over to bring this back over, 10,000. Look at that, 10,399 was our average. So those other two are spot on, and they're right where we need to be. So I can go ahead and feel comfortable putting this. So our property for that one, for the 2.4 acres, is about $25,000. So that's a nice one. So we'll go ahead and do our 0.6 now. And I just want to look up the 0.6 and see if it actually has anything special to it. That's our Montclair. So this does not look like anything special. We do have road access, thankfully. We already checked on that. These look like mostly mobile homes, maybe some small single-family homes. Decent looking neighborhood. Big lot on the backside. This is a really nice property here. So I want to go ahead and check out Google Earth. And Google Earth you can download completely for free from the internet. I like to use the desktop version because you get a lot more with it. I'm going to go ahead and look up our address here and zoom in, and we'll do the fly-in. Alright, so nothing out of the ordinary. Let me add my 3D buildings here. So we do have good access. We have two ways of accessing this property. It's on two major roads. This looks like a highway here, mobile home park, big property. So this looks like a really, really decent lot. What I want to do is actually go back to my timeline. I'll click on that like 1985 there, and you'll see in the top corner I've got this up here. Little bar. I'm going to, yep, there we go. So we did have a property here at one point, which means there may be a septic still there, or at least the impact fees do not have to be paid, which is always a bonus. So that's 2005, that's 2004, 1999. So at some point between 99 and 2004, a mobile home was added, and then at some point between, let's see, 2017, 20. So is it there in 2020, and then it jumps to 21, and then it jumps to January of 24. So for whatever reason, in between 21 and 24, it was demolished. So good news for us, that may have something going in with it. So let's go back and get some more information. Okay, one thing I didn't notice was any sort of permits. Don't see any permits. I don't see anything other than the improved here, so that's exactly where our timeline is. So we know at some point the septic was installed, probably between 2000 and 2010. So the septic's probably about 24, somewhere around 30 years old. I've seen it worse. I've seen some that are 40 years old that were completely cleaned out and perfectly new. So let's just go with that and get our comps for that one. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually remove any of them that are not developed. That is going to give me a better idea of what I'm looking for. There we go. So we have everything from, actually all of these from, once we get past 1 acre, we kind of get down into the nitty-gritty of it. So this is actually probably what we're looking at more than anything for an infill lot, even though it's 0.6 acres. 17.5. So if we do an average of the per acre, we're looking at about 29.9. Look at that, 17.8. Yep, right on cue. So our amount on average is 17.5, but our amount per acre would be 30,000 per acre times 0.6, and we're right at the same amount. So I'm really confident in that. However, knowing that this was developed, you can add some sort of impact fee between 5,000 to 8,000 that the new buyers will not be paying. They can also be grandfathered in to that septic system and not have to raise it. So essentially, your buyer could be saving anywhere between $8,000 to maybe even $15,000, depending on how good the septic is. If the septic's great, you've even added another $6,000 to $8,000 onto your property. So you're taking a chance at this. You don't have a chance to test the septic or the well, but at this point, let's go ahead and see. We can even check the street view. That's most important. Let's see if we have a street view on this sucker. Alright, so we have a very interesting street view. This is obviously much older. We have a 2007 street view. anything sooner than that or older than that. Let me exit. Let's start over. So I'm going to drop this down here. There we go. Alright, so obviously this is from the original one. We have power here, we have lines. This looks really good. So unfortunately we don't have an updated version, but everything looks good to me. This is a nice little lot. So we'll go ahead and probably set our value equivalent to a little bit more than this, maybe around 23,000 we could get for it. We could do some more digging in Zillow, but it's been a long night and we're going to go ahead and try and wrap this up. So I've got one more here for Panama City. Let me go ahead and look up the zip code here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm just going to go straight to Zillow and try to find something close to the property. So I can go ahead and add the address. Okay, and what I do is I just let it roll, and then once the map loads in the background, I can click off of this. So now it's going to give me the general area of where we're at. So remember, our property was somewhere around here. Let me go ahead and take off my acres. I want as much data as possible. I'm going to remove my boundary, and that way we can kind of open it up so it's not locked into anything specific. So you can see here we've got quite a few different properties. So this is looking really good. Ours is 6142. Alright, so just looking at this, I've got quite a few over here. Obviously this is an outlier being on the beach, but our property is not that far. And if we actually look at these that are for like 265, 200, 150, these are averaging ours as at 0.6, 0.16, 0.14. So our average, according to that, would be anywhere between $87,000 to $168,000. So that's not bad for a little paycheck there. One thing we haven't done yet is go to the for sale. So this is another good indication. Let's go ahead and draw. Let's just see where we're at with these. And let's reduce our size. I always like to check these just in case we have some extras. I'm going to reduce our lot size to, we'll do 1/2 acre. Okay, so we have these two right here. These are going to be our golden nuggets. This is really what we're looking for at this point. So we have 135 and 110. So these are bigger than ours. These would basically make our property between $219,000 to $355,000 per acre. So we're looking at 35 to 56. I don't really like those numbers. That's also much bigger properties than ours. This is also 239. So these are all pretty big. Let's see what these two are. Okay, those are definitely outliers from 8,000. Let's remove our boundary. Let's drop down to less than 1/4 and see what it gives us. There we go. So let's just go ahead and check out these. 225. And 325. And 319. I'm liking these a lot better. Alright, so these are 0.24, 0.18, and 0.24. Ours is 0.14. So we're averaging 1.3 million per acre. However, these are more like infill lots, so we're looking closer to anywhere between 150,000 to 212,000 is what these are averaging for ours. And we were looking between 87 to 337. I think that's an outlier. Let's delete that one. So 140, 217. So the sold properties are averaging about 160, and for sale is 217. So quite a big difference, but I already know that mine is at least going to sell for 88,000. That's the lowest comp that we have. So I'm good with that. So what I would do is just set my maximum bid. We'll just take the value of 88,000 minimum and go backwards from there and figure out how much I want to make. This is probably going to go a pretty significant amount. Let's see what our appraisal value is. It's only 32,000, so this may be a good one we might be able to snatch up. So anyways, that's also probably, let's see, another developed property there. Yeah, so we're good. So I've gone ahead and got all these ready. Tap the video on the screen to jump into part 2, where I'll show you how to access free title reports, how to read them, and how to price your offers for the auction.